Welcome back to Mega Man X5! So, we are now on the main loop of the game. However, we have a time limit, and we also have a giant laser cannon to upgrade, so... this one is actually going to be a bit different, this game's main loop, that is. So, since we do have a time limit, and therefore something we need to do specifically, we're... Sorry, I got distracted by bald. Also getting distracted by tidal whale. Scoff. I'll get into that later when I have the time. But anyway, though, if I could stop distracting myself, right, so, we've got the time limit, and we need to build the Enigma. We need to give it extra components so that it can fire. Now, the game's going to introduce 4 of the 8 Mavericks. We are allowed to fight any of the 8 Mavericks we want to. However, all of the Mavericks on this side, the left side, are the ones we want to focus on. Again, you can fight the other ones and get parts for later if you want, but if you want to immediately go for the Enigma, these are the Mavericks you want to focus on. And there's... I guess in terms of, like, if you want to go for maybe collection efficiency, maybe you might want to go for a different stage on the right side first, but I haven't really put that together in my head, so I don't know. I'm focusing on the Enigma Mavericks first. We're also introduced to the fact that we can check on the status of the Enigma, the parts we have for it, and also the parts that we have for each character, though that's currently not particularly useful. So, we're going to be starting with the character that I'm probably going to be calling Squid Adler, but it is Volt Kraken. So, with 16 hours to collision, our first goal. Electric Trap. It's not very descriptive. So, we have our choice of characters. X is allowed to just be in his normal form. That's not going to be too terribly useful. It will have one use, but, in terms of actually, like, utilizing X and his abilities, as long as you have 4th armor, you should go with 4th armor. Again, if you're playing vanilla, you cannot. However, we're going with 0 instead. Also, apparently this hack does allow you to have both Black 0 and Ultimate X, and also this hack lets you use 4th armor and Ultimate X, which is not normally a thing you can do in this game. Anyway, once again, I'm starting off with the hoverbike segment, just like in X4, but unlike the one in X4, this one fucking sucks ass. It's a lot shorter, we're gonna be done in almost no time. However, everything is so compact in this one. Yeah, see, we're already done, but let me tell you, I went through so many takes because learning that segment is a pain in the ass. You will jump, and then you will get crushed to death by the auto-scroller. It's not particularly good. Also, if you want the whatever upgrade is behind this door, you have to collect the orbs you can see during that segment. Also, we did find all of the orbs, so don't worry, Alia, this isn't just a theoretical thing. We will be opening the door. 1 orb at a time. So, one thing to note is that the nice thing about the hack, and there are so many nice things, I keep mentioning them, apparently, you are allowed to miss one of them in the hack. They made it more lenient, which is good, because again, that segment sucks enough. But at the very least, we are allowed to pick up X's helmet. Or a helmet, anyway. Now, you might be wondering, hey, am I able to pick this up since I'm 0? Good news, yes, you are. So... 0 is allowed to just pick up the helmet because he's just, like, picking up the data to give to X later, so you don't have to be here specifically with X, which is really nice. It also lets him, use less energy with special weapons. Unfortunately, this game doesn't let you get quite as broken as X4, and just give you mostly limitless, special weapons. Ah well, anyway though, Volt Kraken stage. I was about to describe the stage, but real quick, we have, hostages in this game. Now, if you're familiar with later X games, perhaps you are terrified of this concept. Perhaps you're looking at that guy and thinking to yourself, no, please God, no. But I'm here to tell you, it's not a problem. In this game, hostages are just basically either healing or extra lives. They are a resource you can pick up. This is not going to be great in later games, but don't worry, at least one of those games has a hack for that sort of thing, too. Anyway, though, yeah, since they are just items, there's not really much to talk about there. You just pick them up. Again, either they're a heal or an extra life. So they are handy to have. Just don't feel like you need to go out of your way for them, if it would put you in more danger. Anyway, though, this stage, I'm not fond of this stage, which I feel is already kind of obvious from the fact that I didn't like the Ride Chaser segments. I think that segment's ass. Again, it's way too compact, way too easy to die. It is just a trial and error portion. But that wasn't enough for an entire stage, unlike X4. I feel like the Ride Chaser in X4 was fine as its own thing. Here, however, we're done with the hoverbike, and now we have to deal with kinda tedious puzzles. Now, this stage does kinda show off one of the more annoying things about Alia. She does interrupt the flow of the stage a lot, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care about Alia that much in this situation, because I don't think this level has particularly good flow anyway. The puzzles are really kinda bad, and look, I will admit, having Alia interrupt you is, you know, it slows down the stage for certain, but I don't think it was a particularly good stage in the first place, so I'm gonna focus more on that. I just don't like the level design here. I think the puzzle's bad, and it might not seem too bad here, but it's gonna get real annoying in a sec. One thing to note, of course, is that if you don't hit these things, after a moment they will start slowly withdrawing back to their original position. However, if you hit them all the way in, to the point where they open the door, after a few seconds, they will quickly slide out. So you don't want to push them all the way in, otherwise you kind of screw yourself over. So this one right here, this puzzle, I could not get a better take for this one, because this one's just tedious. And yeah, even though that one was slow, it was still able to go all the way back out, because the hazard here is just built to be the worst. And yeah, like I said, this was the best take I had. The stage kind of drives me... Oh, that was a mistake to do. The stage drives me mad. So I genuinely didn't want to play this one more. Yep, there it goes, immediately outwards. But also, with the way everything's positioned, it may as well... The one up there may as well just immediately come outwards. Okay, we got it right, cool, good. Anyway, though, yeah, the puzzle in the stage sucks, and I hate it. But, let's talk about better things. So, X5. I've noted, of course, that I don't like the plot itself. I think it's a little too bare bones. Whereas X4 was just the right amount of complex. Not like overly so or anything, but you know, it was the most interesting at its base. However, I think this game genuinely does a really good job of integrating the tone of the plot into the gameplay. We have 16 hours before the fall of Eurasia. It's gonna hit the planet and kill most, if not everyone, so let's stop that. But the thing about the 16 hours is, that is actually a gameplay thing. I mean, it's kind of obvious. They do keep harping on, you have 16 hours, and we'll see soon enough that that time limit will go down, so it's pretty evident that that's the case. But I just think it's really cool that, like, they actually integrate that into the storyline, or the actual gameplay. It does seem kinda stressful at first. Part the curtain a little bit, don't worry too much about the time limits. Even if you game over, you don't automatically lose an hour of time. You only lose an hour if you leave a stage, so basically, just be careful if you have to backtrack, and get items that you missed. You know, make sure you can actually get them. Don't just come to a stage, realize, oh, I can't do anything here, and then leave. You're wasting your time. But if you're really worried about it, in terms of gameplay, it's actually not that stressful when you actually know how it works. Also, yeah, that's just me showing off that stuff up there, but we can't actually make any progress in that direction. But yeah. You only ever lose an hour when you leave or complete a stage. So, even if you game over, you can just choose to continue, you don't lose an hour. It's not like you game over 16 times, and then the save file is deleted. In fact, even if you run out of time, that's not like an immediate game over. You've not completely wasted your playtime in a file, though, just cards on the table, you will not be getting a good ending. Anyway, enough of that for now, though. Here's Volt Kraken. So here's another example of what this game does actually kinda do well. So right now, Volt Kraken is actually kinda chill. Like, he doesn't seem to like us personally, especially Zero. He doesn't like the Maverick Hunters, but of course, the Sigma virus taking over the entire planet is cause for us to need to work together. We're here, he's gonna give us the part, so that's fine. He's not gonna be completely unreasonable, so yeah, I feel like I've been calling him a Maverick too soon. Because, you know, he's just a Reploid that we can reason with. He's a nice person. I mean, look, he doesn't have to like us, it's fine. These things happen sometimes. Look, you don't have to be so pessimistic. We'll stop everyone from, oh, he's going Maverick, whoops. Well, looks like we've seen somebody go Maverick in real time. Goodbye, Volt Kraken. So yeah, I just think that's kind of neat that you actually, like, start with a reasonable Reploid, but then they get, infected. Anyway, though, Volt Kraken, he is both incredibly easy and a really annoying fight. He's one of those bosses where he's kind of always doing something, but, he's really easy to damage, and I should also mention, this hack does actually nerf the damage that Zero does, with his attacks. Just imagine how quickly he would die. I don't know the exact percentage that they nerfed Zero's, Saber, attack power, but, like, I'm certain Volt Kraken would be dead by now. So yeah, Zero is still kinda broken for bosses. That being said though, yeah, like, Volt Kraken is constantly active. So he's annoying, and it's really easy for him to hit you. But also, he dies so quickly, I cannot get a read on the difficulty of this guy. I mean, I guess for my purposes, he's kinda difficult. But in general, you should be able to beat him pretty easily. So, that is it for the first mission. And hey, I should mention actually two good things about this hack. For one, we're going to get upgrades at the end of this mission. The thing about that is, of course, in the original game, whoever you were playing as got the upgrade. Either energy or HP. In this hack, of course, both characters get the upgrade, so if I say weapons and life, that is for both X and Zero, even though I played a Zero. The other nice thing is we're going to get the head parts F for a specific armor. In the original, you could not use an armor until you actually completed it, which is different from, you know, how it works in the main series. The hack changes that. You are able to use an incomplete armor, and yes, I'm saying an incomplete armor. Of course, there's already the ultimate armor that I've mentioned that you can get early on as a cheat code. However, there's actually two different armors we get from capsules. We're going to be seeing the Falcon armors first, just because they're the easier ones to get to. The second one is typically behind places you can only get to with the Falcon armor. More on that later, though. For the time being, that's it for Volt Kraken's stage. Though we've got another minute left. Is there anything else oh yeah, we have a new cutscene, don't we? Nothing's gonna come from this, but we've got a new friend. Incoming message from a guy with a real cool theme.
Who's this asshole?
We of course already know this guy from the intro. He's the guy who, I guess, killed everyone on Eurasia. Like, we're pretty chill about shooting Eurasia out of space with a big laser, so I assume it's a case where it's too late for everybody. I mean, to be fair, they're also experiencing, re-entry, so even if Dynamo didn't kill them all, there's not a good chance of them surviving. God, this plotline is actually kind of depressing if you think about it. We have already failed a lot of people. The game does not focus on the fact that everyone on that colony is either already dead or going to die. That's kind of a heavy subject for X5 though, so they don't mention it ever. Anyway, we're already kinda pissed at Dynamo here, but we don't fight him just yet. We'll see more about him later. For now though, that's it for this episode, and I can't really think of a pun for the end of this episode. Blame it on the hack for changing the boss names. Got kinda addled because of that one.